चलिए आइए, अपनी हाजिरी दीजिए। आप भी आ जाइए। वैसा करना जानते हैं आप?
In an attempt to deliver justice to a greater number of her people, India established a type of village court that was a cross between the old and the new, a synthesis of India's traditional panchayat councils and the British courts of law.
हाँ, आप अपना बयान दें और पहले तो ये आप कहें कि मैं सत्य सत्य कहूँगा, ईश्वर हमें शक्ति दे।
मैं सत्य कहूँगा, ईश्वर मुझे शक्ति दे।
In this village court, called a Nyaya Panchayat, it is a teacher from a nearby Sanskrit school who acts as judge. He is appointed to the post from among a body of elected civil officials.
क्या हुआ?
सरकार मैंने जब हम गए खेत कोर तो खेत घूमे गई तो राम जी बनिया बाणा जो काटत रहा मुआर हमार धान सूख गल बा तो हम जाके कहली कि कहो भैया का करत हवा कहले कि भैया कहना कि का होता हम कहली देखा भैया ये हमार धान सूखल बा काटत हुए ही ओकरी बाद आदमी समझा बुझा के हटा देला।
2 centuries ago, such a dispute would have been settled before a traditional panchayat, a community council headed by elders whose authority derived from their caste and its position within the village.
आप दरखास्त दे हैं ना? जो इनकी दरखास्त उसमें है?
जी दरखास्त सुनी लेले बाटी कोनो हम भारी अपराध तो नहीं थे कइले सब मतलब मुआर हो गल कोनो धान थोड़ा कटवाली मुआर कटले हैं इनके बहुत मतलब समझौनी गांव के 4 आदमी समझौना बुझौना बाकी ना ही मान बन सरकार तो हम का बताएं आपके यहाँ दरखास्त देले बाटे मानते नहीं है।
आप आपस में आप लोग बातचीत कर लीजिएगा अगर आप हाँ अगर आप लोगों का मामला बैठ रहा हो तो भाई हम लोग यही चाहते हैं ठीक है ना अगर सुलह हो जाए सबसे अच्छा है अगर नहीं हो पाता है तो भाई गवाह जो है वो गवाह दीजिए हमको अदालत उनका बयान लेगी संबंध निकलवा लें और जैसा करना होगा आगे वाला कार्य वो अदालत करेगी।
Nyaya Panchayats are panchayats without caste elders and courts without legal professionals. This was to be their strength, but may instead have undermined their authority. Over the years, the number of cases filed before them has dwindled. Nyaya Panchayats remain an ideal. They lack the roots of either the traditional panchayats or the colonial courts, systems that grew out of established social patterns and alignments of power. India, like many nations with a history of colonial rule, has inherited a judicial system from its foreign administrators. Independence leaders, trained barristers like Gandhi, Ambedkar and Nehru, chose to maintain the British common law system with its ideology of equality, individual rights and the rule of law. Today, India is a nation of citizens bound by the uniform laws of the state. But it is also a network of families, castes and villages who govern themselves in part by traditional social codes. Codes based on the sanctity of the group and the rights of its members. Though the majority of Indians take their disputes to the system of state courts, there are still some tightly knit caste groups who use the traditional panchayat system of justice. One such caste is the nandiwallas. The nandiwallas are a nomadic caste of bull trainers and bull traders. Outsiders know them as shrewd businessmen and daring performers. They wander in small bands through the villages and towns of western Maharashtra, performing with their bulls. Every 3 years, the nandiwallas join their people at a place chosen by their ancestors. In camp on the outskirts of a small village, Wadapuri, they perform their religious ceremonies, arrange marriages with others in the group, and settle their disputes. Kinsmen and friends gather to discuss cases that need to be brought before the caste council. A skilled speaker will present the case. The spokesman must be briefed on the facts. After the crier has made his round, a circle begins to form at the center of camp. Panchayat means literally a council of 5 elders. For the nandiwallas, it is a gathering of leaders, whom they call big men, and male members of the caste. The Panchayat will hear any type of dispute arising among the nandiwallas. The group will hear, and the group will decide. The headman, Saibrao, always sits at the top of the circle.
तुला काय वाटतं कोणतं कोर्ट चांगलं हे कोर्ट चांगलं का ते कोर्ट चांगलं आपण ते कोर्टाला गेलच नाही अजून पायरी सोडून तरी आपण तर ते कोर्टाचं काय माहित म्हणजे ते कोर्ट म्हणजे काय पैशाचं करत तो कोटा करील कोटा तो खरं करील वकील पैसे जाया पाहिजे कोटा केस दिला पैशाचं जोर केलं तर त्यांनी कोटा बी करील खरं बी करील आपण तिथं जाऊन सरकारी पायरी सोडून आपल्या पैसे पैसे आहे का आपसात मिटून घेऊ आपण याच्याकडे गुन्हा असतं याला दंड बसू त्याच्याकडे गुन्हा असतं त्याला दंड बसू मारामारी करू नका कोर्टात फिराती जाऊ नका जे आहे ते इथं हा अड्डा भट्टी आईना माटा खाली माटा मम्मूल आणि इथं मोकळा यायची मम्मूल गाली कोठार अड्डे आडा मी समोरीचा निलबारतीला निलाकू ही डबल बिरगांदी घालता कोडू इथं बेटा नु शब्द येऊ रोंडू याली लोक ट्रांची शेरीला शारा पारा शेरीने लोस्तावला शेरीने लोस्तावला येते केशम करती इथं कोला जेप्या म्हणे इथं इना कुठं बसले इनी बसला मला येनी काय इथं कुठं बाहेरचं मला कुलम करा माटा इना कुठं भाई आयन कानो ताई भाई मला जपला कोटी दिसते कुलाने दिसते
Saibrao makes the rules of the group clear, though the offense at hand is a minor one. A man was drunk and made a fool of the nandiwallas in public. There is little to debate. The matter is turned over to the guru. Next to Saibrao, at the head of the circle, stands a priest of Brahmin caste. The religious preceptor the nandiwallas know as guru. As the highest ranking member, he begins the process of fining by suggesting a number. The other big men follow the guru, speaking in descending order of rank. Each figure must be lower than the one before. The last one sticks. The drunk is fined 25 rupees, a low amount the nandiwallas refer to as a slap. Serious offenses are met with high fines, and the offender is said to be tied in a knot. But whether serious or light, committing an offense is considered polluting, which puts one out of caste. To pay the fine is to be reinstated. Panchayat's speech is highly stylized. To hold the floor, the speaker must gain a response from across the circle. Those opposite will echo his phrases, almost as a chorus. Usually, disagreement is not voiced until the speech ends. Nandiwalla leaders must be masters of Panchayat speech. It is they who act as spokesmen for the ones directly involved in the dispute. The group's attention is focused on the spokesman, not on the disputants themselves. To some extent, the Panchayat serves as a political forum. There are two factions among the Nandiwallas, and it is common for their leaders to challenge each other by taking opposite sides of a debate. Saibirau's position as headman does not go unquestioned. But this season, his faction is supported by the Guru and many influential caste men. Opposite him in the circle is the leader of the rival faction, Govinda. The most serious disputes are those which threaten the foundations of caste. Years ago, a man was fined by Panchayat. He didn't pay. He left with his family to join a splinter group. In time, he died and his son married into that group. Now the son wishes to rejoin the Nandiwallas at Wadapuri because the splinter group is failing. There is no disagreement regarding the facts of the case. These are generally known. The question is, to be reinstated, must he pay only for his marriage with a woman from outside the caste, or is he also responsible for his father's offense of the past? Normally in Panchayat, disputes are not treated in isolation. The problem at hand may be related to a number of incidents that must be resolved before a final solution can be reached. His kinsman, in the opposite faction, would have him pay only for his improper marriage. The argument will escalate only to a certain point. Then there is a call for conciliation.
కులంలో పెద్ద మనిషి గడ్డకు పెద్ద మనిషి అటువంటి వాడు ఏదైనా గట్టి చేయక నిలబడి ఒక చిన్న మాట పడి ఒక కట్టు కట్టుకొని ఒక దెబ్బ తిని మళ్ళా యాడికి చేరిండు మనోడు మన పంచలకే వచ్చిండు ఏం మన పంచలకు వచ్చినందుకు మనం ఏం చేస్తున్నాం వాడిని మురికిని కడగాలి మనం
The man is charged with a heavy fine, a solution suitable to both parties. Compromise is necessary for the group to remain together. Unresolved conflict can splinter the caste. In the end, the fine is paid by a kinsman. A portion of the money collected in Panchayat goes to the Guru, a portion to group expenses, such as cleaning out the well, and the remainder is redistributed equally to each household. The Nandiwalla Panchayat illustrates a process of dispute settlement by consensus that continues to exist as long as caste has the power to enforce it. For the majority of Indians, caste is less important than it is for the Nandiwallas. The law that concerns them is that of the state, the law that is the same from Delhi to the remote districts. The courts at the district level are the heartland of the Indian legal system. Occupying the lowest rungs in the hierarchy of appellate courts, they provide most of the nation's people with their point of access to the law. The key figure in this system is the lawyer, the person capable of framing a complaint in the language of the court. Ghazipur had some importance when boat traffic along the Ganges flourished, but now it is a district center like many others in India. It is a large town surrounded by miles of farmland and villages, the outpost of business and governmental administration, linking the countryside to the nation as a whole. Farming is the main occupation in Ghazipur district, land the major resource. Land disputes form the vast majority of the civil cases here. Traditionally, land rights had been controlled by the family as a whole. Disputes were settled in panchayat. But under colonial law, land could be deeded to an individual, divided and sold. As a result, an increasing number of claims were brought before the courts, and the importance of traditional panchayat declined. Coupled with the expansion of state power and its right to collect cash revenues from the land, colonial law had penetrated to the core of village life. Many land cases concern the division of joint family property. Such disputes occur when brothers choose to operate independently, and the joint family relationship is terminated.
तो एक बड़ा तीन के हरियर हो गए, एक बड़ा तीन के अयोध्या हो गए, एक बड़ा तीन के विश्वनाथ हो गए, और विश्वनाथ में हमारा शेयर एक बड़ा 6 हो गया कुल में.
As state institutions grew, so did the need for related services. A new class of professionals came into being, among them lawyers. S.K. Varma is a senior civil lawyer of the Ghazipur court. The Varma family, traditionally large landowners in the district, today includes educators, doctors, and engineers, as well as lawyers. Now in his 70s, S.K. still operates a lively legal practice that employs 5 juniors and keeps him busy 7 days a week. On occasion, he speaks of solitude, a time for meditation away from the constant stream of clients.
आज डेट है और मैं पर बहस है
आज बहस आ जाए
तो उसमें किसी और एक्सपर्ट को रख दिया जाए सर्वे
और एक्सपर्ट क्यों एक मुद्दे की आगे खत्म क्यों क्या विटनेसेस.
Lawyers rise early, using the time before court opens to meet with clients, construct legal arguments, and arrange the day's schedule. M. Dean, an elderly Muslim, joined the bar 55 years ago. His family has a long association with the legal profession. His great-grandfather was a leading lawyer of Ghazipur and was appointed magistrate of the lower court by the British, a rare distinction in those days. M. Dean's son, after receiving his law degree and passing the bar examination, has served his father for 9 years as a junior lawyer. He has the advantage of his family's law library, the best in the district, but whether he inherits his father's clientele will depend on his skill before the court. Lawyers must be masters of language, the special language of law itself, as well as the scripts in which it may appear.
नेट रिजल्ट यही न होगा कि अगर दावा डिसमिस हो गया तो आपको वापस करना पड़ेगा. अब आप इसे समझ लीजिए. Supposing the transferee files the suit and the suit is dismissed, then you will have to return the consideration.
Until recently, legal practice was conducted in English and Urdu. Now, officially, all legal procedure is conducted in Hindi, India's national language.
ये आपसे मैंने बड़ा विनय किया था कि आप अपनी जल्दी दाखिल करें, समाधि हो गई। इस पर शायद ने कहा है, काल करे सो आज कर, आज करे सो अब, पल में परलय होएगी बहुत करोगे कब।
Court begins at 10:30. A man greets SK by offering him betel nut, a small social courtesy. Clients come assured of finding their lawyers here, as litigation is every lawyer's daily routine. Throughout India, lawyers can be recognized by their black coats. In Ghazipur, senior lawyers are distinguished by not having to wear them. What was once a foreign institution is now very much a part of Indian life. The number of practicing lawyers in India is second only to that of the United States, and there is an enormous amount of litigation. In contrast to the traditional panchayat system, a judgment in the state judiciary is designed to be free from community opinion. Claims before the court are isolated, treated independently. The state system is adversarial. There is no call for consensus. One party must win, one must lose. With the courtroom as their goal, clients around the compound wait for their cases called. Primary witness in an assault case involving her husband, this woman has been coming to the court for the last 5 years. Such delays are not uncommon. Familiar by now with the procedure, she sits alternately prodding the court crier and her lawyer, hoping either to shorten her wait or determine if her case will even be called today. Courts close at 4:30. The outcome of any case is uncertain. A missing document, a less than perfect testimony. Delay is a common tactic, and for those who can afford it, often the safest strategy. For those who can't, it may be ruinous. Someone must tend the store, the fields, the children. A court case means money lost and money spent. Though the courtroom is an important arena, much of the negotiation required to win a case happens in the compound itself. A client must manage many complex court procedures and a network of court specialists. Each document must have the appropriate stamp, each copy the correct margin.
अरे ये तो पोस्ट ऑफिस में दोगे यार।
Munshis, or legal clerks, provide services essential to lawyers and clients alike. Every lawyer who can afford it employs one or more to conduct the rote business of his clients. Over the years, a munshi acquires expertise in law and legal procedure. The elderly Ramdev can do everything a lawyer does except appear in court. Now a self-employed munshi, Ramdev accepts cases, completes the preliminaries for his client, and then takes on a novice lawyer to bring the case before the bench. The court grounds are the workplace of more than legal professionals. There are those who copy documents, and those who recognize customers in any waiting crowd.
मास्टर बेट गजरात को समाप्त करेगा औरत माँ बना चल पिला कर दवा देंगी बड़े बाबूजी लीजिए अब काम को समाप्त करते हैं बड़े बाबू क्या ये भी शूटिंग है भैया तो समय आपको पीना है परहेज में जो भगवान ने खुदा ने दिया है रोटी दाल चना पूरा मुर्गी मुर्गा को चाट खाने में कोई परहेज नहीं बात समझ आ गई जल्दी आप लेके आओ
The court is a marketplace of services, an environment familiar to the lawyers, petty officials, and seasoned clients that inhabit it. But to the newcomer, it is highly impersonal and confusing. Clients often need to seek help even to approach the court initially. They may come with an experienced acquaintance from the village, whom they call by the English word expert. Here an expert helps an illiterate client endorse the necessary papers. If more than an expert's help is required, there are others who are in the business of putting clients in touch with lawyers and vice versa. Such professionals, called touts, wait for clients to approach them at the courts or go out looking for newcomers at the local bus stands and train stations. When asked how he entered this business, the tout likened himself to a doctor. He had had the court illness often enough now to be able to help others. Litigation is often referred to by the Hindi word meaning ill health. Some see the official legal system as the negation of traditional values, a path used by those who would bypass community opinion. But today, community interests must coexist with the needs imposed by a changing environment. Most Indians live in a world that requires the legal services of the state. Navigation through the court's machinery demands an understanding of its language and its people. Some can take advantage of this system, others remain powerless in its presence. Colonial and indigenous institutions in India's national life have been a matter of great debate. Mohandas Gandhi became disillusioned with the lawyers' courts. Without advocating a return to caste panchayats, he looked to the moral force of the village community as the source of an effective system of justice. These ideas, in part, were the inspiration for the Nyaya Panchayats, or village courts. On the other hand, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, born into an untouchable caste, saw in British law an avenue for release from communal tyranny. He used it as a powerful national-level tool in outlawing discrimination on the basis of caste. India's leaders today face the system as it has evolved. Active among them has been Justice Bhagwati of the Supreme Court.
The judicial system is by far the most important and significant instrument in preserving democracy and the rule of law, and everyone in the country realizes its great importance. And therefore the minds of people here are exercised considerably over increasing the effectiveness of this system and to see that it delivers what I would call social justice.
Justice Bhagwati and other concerned lawmakers have implemented a range of reforms, among them legal aid services, small claims courts, and laws aimed at reducing delays in the disposal of cases. The search for a more responsive system of justice is an ongoing process. As Indian society changes, so must her institutions.